We don't talk enough about how passport bros are just predators.
Right.
You're leaving America to go to another country to prey on the women there you perceive as being more submissive.
The fuck?
That's predatory behavior. I don't know how. Also, it doesn't bother you at all that you're taking a page right out of the colonizer's playbook.
Right.
You want to go to another country to find women
Right.
who are more submissive, aka lesser than you, and you don't think that's exploitation at all, like not even a little bit.
A little bit.
That's literally how black people got to America. It's
Right.
because white men thought that black people were lesser than, and therefore they could exploit us.
Right.
Ladies, if you're in another country and you happen to stumble upon a passport bro, run.
Run.
I want to let you know. I want to let you know that by your logic, I'm gonna devaluate, or I don't know what the proper word is, because I'm a black man and shit. We're knuckle draggers in our ethnic community and shit, according to you and people who think like you. All right, but I'm gonna mess up my whole commentary and shit. I'm not trying to debate you or anything and shit. This is my commentary and shit, and I want young men and kings to hear this. But before we get started, I'm going to say that I don't think you're attractive, or in any way, sexual or otherwise, mentally otherwise, even spiritually. I find you ugly, okay? And it's not because you're dark skinned and you have short hair. It's not because of that. It's not because of the cat eye glasses. It's not because of your you're fighting the fat, middle of the road, chunky body. It's not because of your mouth frothing feminism and shit, the fake misandrous feminism. Black people like to innovate shit. You black women have taken, actual feminism and shit and turned it into, you know, well, you've become a hate group, okay? Basically, you're a hate group, and you're overly reprehensible. You're reprehensible. Hey, if I make any mistakes, just remember, I'm a straight black man and shit. Knuckle dragger shit, according to you, Miss Sanders and whatnot. But I want to say that you guys have taken, what they call feminism and just turned it into puerile hate and shit that makes me sick to my stomach. And that's the reason I make these videos and shit. And I just want to keep saying that. I think you're ugly. Okay, you're an ugly, ugly ass woman and shit. You got a fat, chunky body. You got a head that looks like a nigga. And you got a fucking short ass fro from the 70s and shit. And you wear big ass granny panties and you hide in your rhetoric and shit. You can't hide from me and shit. Okay, I know who you are. I'm the spook that sat behind the door. I know who you are. Shit, you one of these non-select fucking women and shit who you're involuntary lesbian, more likely or not. I'm pretty sure of that. You hide in your rhetoric. You are always the thumb on the hand in your girl group of friends, if you even have one. And you got your little education and shit, and you got your talking points and shit, and you hide in this because you're miserable, and you're no one's first choice and shit, not even your girlfriend. Okay? The best you can do is be a seat for her ass. Okay? I know it's fucked up to say that and shit. But, I take issue with being called a predator and shit. I take issue with my ethnic group, the men portion of it, the cisgender, as you guys like to say, the cisgender straight black male contingent of this ethnic community of these slave quarters in the colonies over here in America, 3Ks inset. I'm tired of this bullshit with this predators and shit. You guys benefit from government oversight. The minority majority, they cover you guys and shit. You guys are more often than not the instigators of intimate partner violence. There are untold legions who will never be exposed of black female predators here in the colonies and abroad and shit. And you're an embarrassment on the world stage when you travel. You do the most egregious shit, and you wonder why, men of means, like those sheiks over there in Dubai that fly a lot of women out. Not you. Okay, you don't qualify. You have to fly yourself over there and beg for a penny. All right. You wonder why, people like you who have this mindset and all this bullshit. You want people to think you're winning, but you're crying on the inside. You're a loser, okay? A piece of trash. A piece of trash. All right? Now I know who you are. I seen you back there behind the door where I'm at and shit, okay? I looked over and I saw you and I laughed. I laughed my fucking ass and shit, because like getting back to my point. Now you guys wonder why you gotta, the bitches who want us to think they're winning because they take pictures on Instagram and they make TikTok videos every day with bullshit. These are the same ignorant ass women that go abroad and embarrass the fuck out of our race. It's you guys doing it, okay? So more than any fucking black man, you don't see us in the foreign countries doing dumb ass shit, disappearing and shit, you know. You're the victim of your own bad decisions, and you're easy to identify in other countries because you can't stop shaking your ass like a fucking primate and shit, taking pictures of your food plate and shit when it's arrived. You know how ghetto that is when you're in a 5-star restaurant, someone sets a plate of food in front of you, and you take your picture of it and shit. You make a food selfie, okay? And you don't think other people are looking at you. Reminds me of the time I saw the clip of Sierra and Megan the Stallion's lion ass and this other bitch, I forgot whose name escapes me, in Italy twerking and shit while the people clapped and shit and they had to withhold themselves from throwing peanuts and shit. Peanuts, okay? And she's a married woman and shit. And getting back to you, it's just something you will never have to worry about unless you're a criminal and shit. Just kidnap your life partner, okay? Yeah, it's people like you. You're a problem, okay? And I want to keep telling you, I think you're ugly as fuck, and I think you're a fraud. You're a fake, phony ass bitch, okay? Am I devaluing my argument? I'm upset that you and people like you who say you don't want us, you denigrate us every day. The negging never stops, the generational negging, the gaslighting, in some cases, the beatings, man, the proxy violence and shit, okay, which has been taken to a new level this current weekend and shit after I saw an innocent man convicted of a crime he did commit, okay? Fucking shame, man. Black women, you say you winning and shit, but you make a W, but I make a L, and you can't see me through this avatar, but I'm sitting up here talking to you, and I got my hand up right in front of my forehead. I'm making a letter L and shit because I think that's what people should do when they see people like you. You're a fucking loser, okay? You're the end. You're Ragnarok of the black community. All right, people like you, women like you, you're Ragnarok and shit. There's a lot of women that look like you, a lot of ugly ass, fake feminists, black female extremists and shit. And you're the motherfuckers we always see next to the minority majority. All these goddamn politicians that's making these laws that fuck us up and shit as a group. All right, whether you want to be a part of the black community or not, I know you women think you're a separate, group and shit, in this country and shit. We understand that, okay? Especially after, some assholes on Fox Soul told Ice Cube they were separate from black people. Go figure, right? But we're the knuckle draggers. God damn it. Black men are not predators because they want to travel overseas. All right? In the past, I actually posted a clip of a red bone with blackheads all over her face in Jamaica, yelling about having herself orally satisfied and shit. And in the clip, you can see the woman in extreme close up yelling about, they don't want no passport, because they won't eat her, stuff down there. And she has the nerve to show who she's talking to. It's a bunch of young ass kids. It's a bunch of young guys out there, some canoes and some dudes, and they just ignoring her ass. And that's what's going to happen over here. Okay, only a third of men are actually probably traveling overseas or even have the fucking means The rest of the men are just like, fuck y'all. Okay, we're like, fuck y'all. Finally, we've gotten to this point. I've been waiting for this shit since the early 80s. All right? And in the goddamn late 70s, I started seeing black women traveling overseas, sex trafficking, some of them bringing them niggas back from, the Caribbean countries and shit, and bringing them into their house. And then they think they're gonna treat motherfuckers from, black dudes from another country like they treat niggas over here. They think that, and then they got cheated on. They got finessed. Y'all talk about, we're gonna go over there and get scammed and shit. You would know. You would know. A lot of you motherfucking women got the finesse first. Y'all got caught up in the mix and shit. And you brought this your foreign dildo back over here to show us how you got your groove back. And then he's finessed your ass and shit. And the minute he got his green card, he noped out of there. And he brought his real wife over and his children. And he made sure he got a good job and everything. And then he left your fucking ass with some kids, and then he went and moved in with his wife and his kids and shit. He living large because you stupid, because you don't have no discernment. And then on top of that, while you back here in the States, before you save up enough money to go over there and get dick down and shit, you're miseducating your children and shit, but you're focusing all your resources on the female and shit so that she can perpetuate this negative cycle and shit by making a shitty decision, getting with a brute, a criminal minded, criminally insane brute, a criminal minded thug and shit, a feminized thug. You know, you guys champion female led single mother households and shit while bitching about it. And then you can know, back in the day, we knew when we saw a chick that didn't have no man in the house and shit. Because when they had a son, they was putting these braids and shit in their hair and barrettes and shit. And giving their son bitch haircuts and shit. And then that make the nigga have to fight harder at school. And go overcompensate and shit. Because his mother's trying to emasculate him and shit. She's doing his hair like he's a fucking girl. And then later on, she's gonna tell this dude when he got going through his testosterone, starts surging and peaking and shit, and he ain't got no man in the house to teach him how to deal with that shit. You're gonna tell him how to be a man, and you're gonna admonish him when he do some shit, when he go overboard to try to assert his masculinity and do some criminal shit. And you don't tell him shit. You don't teach him about like sex or any of that bullshit. You admonish, you tell him he's a predator. He's a little boy and shit. He's probably the same age as Emmett Till. You know, since you want to call black men predators and shit, I guess you cool with Emmett Till's false accuser. You cool with her never going to jail, never getting justice for that boy who was murdered and lynched and shit because of shit like what you're saying today. Black women, you ought to be fucking ashamed of yourself. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. Black girl, tragic for real. That is an appropriate name for you. That is an appropriate fucking name for you because you are tragic. You're a loser, shit. You're the your antithesis of everything that we need to fix our communities, and we will fix them and shit. Okay, we're gonna travel overseas, and the smart guys, after they get that post nut clarity, they're gonna try to acclimate to these other countries and shit. They're gonna find good women. Some guys will find good women and shit, and make a family, and extend our line beyond the borders of America. 3Ks said, we have to. This system is rigged. The house always wins, and you know that, and you know you're a loser, and you know nobody's checking for you. Okay, that's why you have to, play this role and shit. You got to put your cat eye shades on. You got to put on your crop top. You got to wear your granny panties pulled way up into a wedgie into your ass. Because you need to hide your midsection, which is about as wide as your shoulders and your fucking hips, with approximating a rectangular shape, which gives you a masculine frame. Yes, you sound like a woman and shit. An annoying woman who who uses her supposed education as a crutch. You crying on the inside of shit, okay? And you better be good to your lesbian lover. You better treat her like a queen or king and shit. Kang. You better treat her right and shit. Okay? And you better treat them cats right that you got too. Alright, bitch? Black men are predators and shit. No, we're not. If we were fucking predators, like you bitches say, none of this shit, none of this community or any of this shit will look the way it does. Okay? None of this shit will look the way it does. You guys work overtime to drag this community down, to drag your own people down and shit. And you talk about men getting therapy. You're telling that you're on that kick now. Oh, you guys need therapy. You need this and that and other. But you're not addressing your own issues of inadequacy. Okay? Instead, you're online and shit, being performative, being performative and shit, man. You're not fooling anyone. You need these responses to your shitty video because you're lonely. All right, you need human contact. You need emotional content shit to feel like you're alive. Black girl tragic my ass. I think you're funny. You're funny, man. I laughed at that shit. I laughed. I was mad as fuck, right? For like, I don't know, like a minute or two. Then I started laughing when I looked at you again. I just started laughing. It did, I went and looked you up and shit. I don't just drag a bitch for out of nothing for no reason. I would be doing that shit forever. I cherry pick and shit. And hey, you could you take some consolation in the fact that, I decided to make this video that's going long. All right, you're not fooling anyone. All right, I'm sorry you were invisible to your peers in your formative years, that you had to overcompensate. When you did mess with a guy, he was just fucking you because you were a low hanging fruit, an easy target. And then he noped out. He act like he don't know your fucking ass. Okay, he act like he don't know your ass, whatever your situation is. And so you got all mad, and then you want to be a feminist, or what you think is a feminist and shit. All right, it's hatred. All right, you traffic in hatred. All right, I wouldn't have even made this video. I wouldn't have given a fuck about you either. I would have not have cared about you. But I'm tired of black women calling black men predators and shit. When the woman is the first teacher of the child. Woman is the first teacher of the child. I don't know if you have any children or not, and I don't want to find out. But you guys are the first teacher of the child in your fucking womb. Whatever you're going through, whatever you're eating, whatever you're reading and taking in, mentally and everything, it transfers to the baby. It transfers to the baby. I know this. I've seen I've seen it. Okay? I've seen it. I don't want to elaborate. You know, I I run a tight ship. And I want to let you know that I am a misogynist, okay? I am a severe misogynist anarchist, okay? You have to use both of those terms together to describe, what I am and shit. Deep down, I am a misogynist anarchist and shit. What that means is that I believe my ethnic community needs a hard motherfucking reset, okay? Needs a hard fucking reset. They need to flip the switch and shit, okay? This revolution will not be televised and shit, but you will have a front seat, bitch. Okay? Because we're going to do this shit anyway. And your participation is not even required. We won't even be looking at you. All right? And that bullshit mantra you guys were taught in the 80s, strong, independent, don't need no man and shit, it's on its head right now. And black women, you think you're fucking winning this shit. And it's cool. Hey, keep thinking that shit, okay? But when you get through, y'all gonna look around and you're just gonna see other women and shit in that bitch, okay? You know how they say, so, you go to a party with, it's just a bunch of niggas in there and they call that shit a sausage party? Well, you guys, you're on your way marching not to Bethlehem, but to the motherfucking fish fry and shit. All right? You're going to be in that fish fry, motherfucker. And, to close and shit. I just want to say, from the heart, kiss my ass.
We don't talk enough about how passport bros are just predators.
I'm not a predator if I sleep with women in America, but if I sleep with women outside of America, I'm a predator. Got you. Guess that means you stop sleeping with people in different states, too, right? You live in Florida. Don't sleep with somebody in Chicago. You're a predator. Logic. The obesity rate in a different country is not as high as America. Stay here and sleep with all the mammoths. Got it? Women in other countries are nice and they look good. Stay here. Deal with somebody who's nice but don't look good. Or deal with somebody who looks good and wants to rob you passively. Nice. I don't think she used logic. I don't think logic matters to her. She's not happy at all. She keeps on forgetting to use her Planet Fitness membership.
This message has been paid for by the Dusties. Yes, the niggas you love to hate.